Last game we're going to touch on, Justin.
Yeah.
Big Ten after dark. Big Ten after dark on the West Coast here. Northwestern at Washington. And I just want to, as a caveat, Justin and I both have had a winning season. For me, I just want to tally up my latest. I am 27-18-1 on the season betting college hoops. Justin, do you have a total for you this year?
No.
But really good. Still, you and I'm not just saying.
I mean, I know I don't have like the record. I know I'm up 15 units on live betting on the show, and I'm up about another 35 units personally.
Yeah.
So it's been a really good season. I bet half units on standard plays. So
Right.
ROI has been incredible. We had a 25, 30 unit week run in December, a little cold, dropped about 15, 20 units in the first 2 weeks of January, and then have absolutely gone nuclear again, back up another 20, 30 units in the last 2-3 weeks. So welcome to college ball. Like you're gonna go up and down. You're gonna question if you're good at it for a week sometimes. And then you're going to go absolute light speed and you're going to get everything right for a week. I had a 14-5 day and I missed, my 4th out of 4 big plays that day by the hook. So everything's been feeling great. The reads have been feeling good all year. Every time I lose, I'm like, I get it. I understand why I lose. I usually do not say I shouldn't have made that bet. I think the best bettors will look you in the eye after a loss and tell you, I'd take it again. And if you can't do that, I don't think you should be betting your plays.
I agree. No, that's a great take for experienced middle tier novice bettors out there. I lost Providence, for instance, on Wednesday night as a 3.5 point dog. I would have bet that 20 times out of 20, 100 times out of 100,
you'll take
1,000
the
times
loss.
out of 1,000.
You understand. It's like having a weighted coin in your pocket and not getting the result you bet on. Like, okay, I just know it's weighted, so I'm going to keep playing. And I mean, we've seen it a lot in the gambling diaspora world out here. All this stuff going on, the chatter, the Twitter spaces, everyone's talking about who deserves this and all that and who picks and that. Look, here's the simplest barometer I got for you. This is all math. This is all math. If you don't understand the number game and you don't understand the probability game that you're playing, and you can't say, hey, I think this play wins at 60% and I'm getting billed 54%, which means that 6% edge means I should play it every single time regardless of what actually happens. Yeah, my guess is that you're just having a terrible time doing this. So that's the best advice I could give. Last 5 minutes, best advice I've probably ever given in this space.
Yeah, no, I love it. All right, let's move on to, again, Big Ten after dark. Northwestern projected to be a 2-point road favorite at lowly Washington. The Northwestern Wildcats 13-10 overall, 4-8 in Big Ten play, and the Huskies 11-11, 2-9 in conference. Wildcats not only without Brooks Barnhizer, second leading scorer, out for the rest of the season with a foot injury, but Jalen Leach, their starting point guard, reportedly out for the rest of the year with a knee injury as well. This is Northwestern's first West Coast trip of the season. So, big key for me, Washington's ability to limit Northwestern on the offensive glass. Wildcats' 4th best offensive rebounding rate in conference play. Osabor and the Huskies front line, pretty good on the defensive boards. And then with Osabor offensively, one of the true do-it-all players in college basketball, even if he wasn't on a crappy Washington team. Martinelli, Northwestern's best player at this point without Barnhizer, is an average defender in general, especially in isolation. And Osabor's specialty is truly his ability to handle the basketball as a 6'8" forward. So I think Washington's able to get out in transition and take advantage of Northwestern and also limit their second chance shots. Whether Washington closes as a short favorite, maybe -1 with the Leach news, or short home dog, I'll be on the Huskies here. Again, don't chase, but this is truly a late night spot here with Washington.
Yeah, well, this is quite the matchup. Washington kind of feels a little bit like an enigma. Their defense is really nice. They limit you in terms of the spacing you develop, the shots you take. The rim and 3 rate is low. And again, that's in a conference where teams understand shot math. So this is tough. I mean, coming off of the Nebraska loss, which was the biggest underperformance for Washington's defense in almost 2 months since the USC game where they gave up 85 on 65 expected. They were only expected to allow 75 points to Nebraska. But Nebraska shot 11 of 19 from deep, right? And that was after Washington started that game 7 for 7 from deep. That was like the live betting masterclass if you picked up Nebraska early.
Yeah. Or Washington first half, and then to your point, Nebraska second half.
Right. Washington went ice cold. They shot under 0.9 points per possession in the second half. They're shooting red hot. I definitely have concerns that this is just not a Power 5 offense, if that's fair. They definitely are a defense that I think is going to continue to cause some problems. But worst offense in the conference. Defense hasn't been great, but you also have to remember the strength of schedule in the conference has been tough for sure. I mean, you're coming off of a run of Illinois, Michigan State, Michigan, Purdue, Oregon, UCLA, win against Minnesota, and then Nebraska. So this is going to be the easiest team that they face besides the win at Minnesota in over a month, and they're at home. So yeah, with the injury, I was actually coming in when we first started talking top of the show before we started recording. Eli, you were like, well, I know you said you leave Northwestern and some injury, and I was like, well, that's probably a good call out because guess what? Shot quality does not factor out the injury in terms of any way, shape, or form, right? So if a player has been playing for 20 games and he's going to miss game 21, the shot quality data is based on those 20 games, and you can't really filter them out. You have to use your own know-how. What starts to happen, though, is after 2 or 3 games or even 40 minutes of him playing or them playing without that player, shot quality is going to be more accurate to knowing how they're looking now than what the efficiency metrics are going to do because they're not going to be able to separate it out as fast when it starts to happen. So it's a little bit of a twofer. Of course, look, KenPom doesn't have injury adjustments either necessarily. The market makes them. The books make them.
Torvik, I think, is a little injury adjusted, but yeah, you're right about KenPom.
Yeah, of course, it is a little, but usually what happens is it's predicated based off of games without that player, or sports books make adjustments, or they open bad lines and with low limits, and they accept sharp bettors who know the injuries better than them, and they move them before the limits go up, and they still make money because they accepted $150 bets at the low limit to figure it out, and then $400, $500 bets at the high limit, and they win. So it's an exciting, a way to attack it, I think, in terms of using that data, but I would definitely lean a bit here towards that side with Washington. Injuries, a big part of college basketball and nearly impossible to quantify unless you truly know a team top to bottom.